Hello, I have a message to share with you today, and I hope that it will inspire and lift you and help you to realize your own greatness. I'm just going to bring up my presentation and I will begin now. And we are recording. So what I'd like to share with you today are some keys to happiness. And we all want to be happy. That's our natural pursuit, isn't it? And these are just some simple things that you can do to create the life that you desire. And you do deserve that life. And so hopefully I can give you some help and some ideas. We all have miracles in our lives, don't we? To me, life itself, like Einstein said, you can either look at life as if nothing is a miracle or as if everything is a miracle. But this 10-second miracle is one that you can create. And that is that the best day of your life is the one on which you decide that your life is your own. No apologies or excuses, no one to lean on or rely on or blame. The gift is yours. It is an amazing journey, and you alone are responsible for the quality of it. This is the day your life really begins. This is the day that you are free to grow. When you take 100% responsibility for everything in your life, you don't blame your parents, your upbringing, circumstances, or events. You are free now to choose and to grow. And it is a wonderful miracle. So the first tip I have for you is to ask yourself, who do I listen to? You know, if you know what you want, number one, figure out, who would you like to be? What would you like to have in your life? What would you like to do? If you could give as much as you possibly could, what would you give and who would you give it to? So you want to look for people that have been where you are and now have what you want and who are who you want to be. Those are the people you listen to. And there's a lot of people in your life that you may be listening to that do not have what you want, who are not the person you want to be. So they are not who you listen to. And you want to pay attention to who you're listening to in the books that you read, in the audios that you listen to, your mentors or coaches. And if you're thinking, I don't have a mentor, I don't have a coach, if you see someone that you would like to become like them, you would like to be the kind of person they are, have what they have, do what they do, give what they give, approach them. So many people would love to give back to you and to help you. And you can do that. You can ask and receive the help that you need. And ultimately, you're going to listen to yourself because you have that inner voice. You have that light within you that is going to guide you because everything that you need for happiness, for success, is within you and around you. So ultimately, you are going to listen to yourself. Well, this is a concept that is really powerful for me to learn, and that is your teachability index. And I was actually in an audience, a teacher up in front, a chiropractor actually, and I attended this with my husband, and we were sitting kind of on the back row, not to really be noticed, My husband likes he has a little bit of social anxiety of being in crowds, and he likes to sit kind of where he has an escape route. So I really didn't feel like I was inconspicuous at all. But when the instructor began to teach this concept, and it wasn't the first time I'd heard it, and he asked us, what is your willingness to learn? And I love to learn. I feel like it's part of my purpose in life to learn and then to teach what I learn. I love doing it. It's a passion I have. So I immediately thought, oh, probably an 8. And so he looked around the room and he said, I want a volunteer. I want someone to come up. And I'm sitting way at the back, and he looks back there and he says, you, with the purple scarf. And he called me up on stage and he said, so what do you think your teachability index is? How willing are you to learn? And I've done a lot of personal development and study in my life. And he had the perception, I think, to know that, to recognize that. And he could see that I had a level of success. And so I had been thinking I was an 8, but I said a 6 because I didn't want to be pompous or, assuming. And then he muscle tested me. The test where you hold your arm out and they push, and they, first of all, establish a base. So you say something like, my name is Phoebe, or you say, my name is Cindy, and your arm goes down. So you respond strong to truth. So he tested me, and I was a 2. I was a 2. And it was really an eye-opener for me because I really thought I knew a lot. So I wasn't quite as teachable as I thought I was. So I want you to really think about that. How teachable are you? Do you come up against things like, I already know that, I've heard that, I've done that? Well, this is the test. What are you willing to give up to learn? I'm going to tell you that you need to be learning on a daily basis. You need to be pouring into you. And if you're not willing to give up that television program or whatever else it is that you need to give up in order to learn, then you don't have a very high teachability index. So just start by acknowledging where you are. And I will tell you that that day he taught an energy field treatment that was very interesting. And after doing it, then he tested me again, and I was an 8. So anyway, there are lots of things that can help. But it was really good for me to just kind of get that wake-up call so that when I was resistant to learning, when I heard an idea, instead of automatically assuming that I knew, I would ask myself, how willing am I to learn? What is my teachability index right now? The second part of your teachability index is, what is your willingness to change? So if you were going to rate yourself again on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you be? Are you willing to change how you think about things? Are you pretty solid and immovable where you are? Are you willing to look at the possibility that changing your thinking could change your life? Are you willing to change how you feel about things? Or are you stuck on feeling those same feelings over and over, day in, day out? So here is a huge concept for you to really understand and grasp. In this training balance scale, and you see that little scale down at the bottom, imagine that on one side, we're talking about your mind. That's your why. Why? What's your purpose in moving forward? What will happen? And how will your life change when you have what you want? when you're the person you want to be? What's your why? And so it's your thoughts. So we're just piling these in on one side of the scale: your thoughts, your thinking, your motivation, your dreams, your desires, your goals, your attitude, your emotions, your feelings, your intentions. And on the other side, your activity, the how. How will you get what you want? And it's what you do. It's the actions you take, your action plans, your skills, your strategies, the systems and the techniques. So I want you to imagine now, these are on the balance scale. You've put all of these ideas on, and now which is heavier? Do you think that your mind and your thinking is more important? Or do you think your activity and what you actually do is more important? So if you were weighing it out, what percentage would you give to the mind and what to the activity? And I'm going to tell you what experts say. 99% of your success, and we could say happiness, is your mind. It's all those things. It's your why, it's your thinking, it's your desires, your dreams, it's all those things. And 1% is your activity. And some people say 99.9%, some say 90%. But it truly is your thinking, as James Allen said so long ago, the father of psychology. Let a man radically alter his thoughts, and he will be astonished at the rapid transformation it will effect in the material conditions of his life. So he's saying that if you change your thinking, if you put more time and effort into that thinking side, that you can even change the material conditions of your life. And then Wayne Dyer, change your thinking, change your life. You have the power. And this is such an important key, taking responsibility and then moving forward. And I'm going to give you some ideas on how you can do that. Well, this is Earl Nightingale. What a fascinating man. He actually had the first $1 million record that was personal development, that was called The Strangest Secret. And this is the strangest secret. We become what we think about most of the time. And that's the strangest secret. So another way of saying it is we get what we think about most of the time. So if you have a recurring thought that just doesn't leave you, that stays with you, or you think predominantly, think about what's showing up in your life as a result of that thought. And if you could change what you think about most of the time, then you're going to change what your life looks like and what you get. Now, you may be thinking, oh, I've heard that, I've studied that, and good for you. But these are the 4 levels of learning. And if you don't have what you want in your life, if you're not the person you really want to be, then you don't really know it. Because if you really know it, you have it. So if you don't have it, you don't know it yet. Because when you know something, then you are compelled to live it. So let's think about driving a car. And of course, the Mercedes, because that is our company car. But unconscious incompetence is where we all start out. We don't even know what we don't know. And then we hear something. We come to a training, we read something, we have an experience, and we become consciously incompetent. Now, we know, for instance, in driving a car, we know that we don't know how to drive the car. And so we study, we learn, we take a driver's ed class, and we become consciously competent. In other words, we're sitting there, we're thinking about all the steps. And if any of you have learned to drive a manual shift, a stick shift car, like I remember doing when I was 16, it was an effort. I remember leaving for school in time to get there an hour before school, and I got there when school started. And it should have only taken me 20 minutes because I stopped and started so many times. But we're thinking about push in on the clutch, let out on the gas. We're thinking all those steps. We're unconsciously competent. And then one day we get in the car and we drive home, and we get home and we think, oh, I was unconscious. I didn't even pay any attention. And suddenly I'm home. We are unconsciously competent. Now, driving a car, that could be a little scary, but we know we haven't had to think at all about driving the car because we're at that unconscious competence level. And that's where we want to get with our thinking and with all these success and happiness habits. We want to become unconsciously competent. Now, I'm going to teach you a technique, maybe more than one that you'll like. And then you're going to concentrate. You're going to start out being, right now, maybe you're unconsciously incompetent, and I'll awaken something in you. And now you're consciously incompetent. So every time you speak something negative, you're going to say cancel, cancel, or at least think it in your mind, and you're going to rephrase it. And you do that over and over again because you are now consciously competent. You get to the point where you're consciously competent every time a negative thought enters your mind. At first, you're conscious of your incompetence. You recognize the negative thought. Now you recognize the negative thought and you change it. And then one day you realize that without thinking, you have automatically reframed that thought and expressed it in a positive way. So that's just an example of how you apply those 4 levels of learning. So another way that you can truly have happiness is to find joy in the journey. You know, the sooner that you realize that every experience is a gift to you, you can ask yourself, who am I becoming? What did I learn from that experience that helped me to grow? And just doing that is going to bring joy. It's going to bring something positive into your life. What can you use from this experience to increase your service? Another thing Earl Nightingale says is that your rewards can only be equal to your service. So look at your life's experiences. How can you use those experiences to serve others, to make a difference? So the real prize in the pursuit of any goal, whether it's who you become or what you want to have or do or be or give, it's who you become in the process. That's the prize. So choose to develop you. You want to every day spend time personally developing you. That means read a book. Hey, if you start out and you feel like you only have time to read a paragraph, read a page, then read a chapter or read 5 pages, and just get to where you start increasing your daily personal development. I have seen people that I've worked with and coached and mentored, and as they have increased their reading and listening, and you can go to the public library and you can check out CDs, audio recordings of people like Wayne Dyer and Zig Ziglar, and there's so many. Trying to think of more that I know are in the library. Just go to that personal development section and tell them you want to look at the audios. And then you can download those. And I guess these days you can just put them on your iPad or your phone and you can listen to them. And just take every opportunity to do that. Professional development, whatever you have chosen in your career, spend time developing yourself professionally and associate with people that you want to be like and that you can add to. You want to pay attention to your feelings. Actually, the limbic part of the brain, now there's so much brain science, so much technology. And what we know is that the limbic brain is the feeling brain, and it's the center of the law of attraction. So there's no language for that part of your brain. The communication is emotion, it's feeling. So the most important job you have every single day is to feel good. Even if you don't have what you want yet, even if you aren't the person you want to be, you want to feel good now. And maybe something really tragic and awful has happened. So you just need to feel better. Work on feeling better. Move up that emotional scale until you can really feel good. And that's going to be a skill that you'll develop so that you can keep attracting, because when you feel good and you have happy feelings and you have a feeling of gratitude, the feeling of gratitude is one of the highest vibrations, the feeling of love. And sometimes that's all it takes to shift that thinking and feeling is to think of someone you love. One question Tony Robbins says that helped me many, many years ago and have made it a part of my life is to ask, who do I love and who loves me? And what do I have to be grateful for? And just ask yourself those questions and it will shift your thinking. Develop your belief in yourself. Sometimes we are hardest on ourselves. If you're a critical person, you're critical of your surroundings, critical of other people, more than likely you're also very critical of you. So take a look at you and define yourself by your strengths, not your shortcomings. Look at your strengths and build on them, and then you can work on your shortcomings. Look at other people who have done what you have wanted to do. Look at other people that are happy. You know, you'll find people with similar circumstances. I find in my career that the most successful people have all had the biggest challenges. And none of them, I don't know one of them who has not had a rocky road, who didn't have a rough beginning in some way in their life. And then speak life into your language. You know, other people hear you and you have an impact on them with what you say, but you hear everything you say. So make sure that you speak life. You speak what you want when you speak. Don't talk about not having enough money. Talk about what you want and the things you're going to do to create what you want. Don't focus on lack. Focus on the abundance in the world. You're at a buffet. We live in the most abundant environment in the world. Our country, people on poverty level are in the top, I think, 5% of the wealth of the world when you look at other countries. So count your blessings, stay in that feeling of gratitude and abundance, and speak that into your life. So here are just a few things to help you change those negative patterns. Number one, this is a fantastic rule. It's called the 10-5 rule. And it was actually, oh goodness, what is the hotel? A 5-star luxury hotel. This is their motto. And the Ritz-Carlton, they teach all of their employees this rule, and that is the 10-5 rule. When you come within 10 feet of anyone, smile. Smiles are powerful. Even if they don't look at you, there's an energy that will be sent, that you will be sending out, and that they will feel. And you will be making a difference in a small way, but a significant way. So within 10 feet, you look at them in the eyes and you smile. Within 5 feet, you say hello. And what they found, that this was very, very powerful in increasing the service and the ratings that they got, and what a great skill for their employees to have. So start practicing that. And in some of the studies, the positive psychology studies, which is a great new area of science, they found that even when they did studies where people would look at each other and smile, and they would track how long it took for the other person to smile. And even in countries where women draped their faces so you could not see the smile, the same results were found. So when I talk about that, energy is real. One thing about smiling is it is a great way to change your physiology and your thought pattern. You want to interrupt that negative thought. So one way is to smile. Another way is to do something you love. Turn on some music and dance if that's what you love. Go for a walk. Go outside. Pet your dog or your cat. Play with your child. Do something to interrupt that and change your physiology. I already taught you, say cancel, cancel, and rephrase the thought. So, whatever that thought is, when it pops into your head and you think, oh, I could never do that, then cancel, cancel. I'm looking at ways that I could do that. I could never afford that. Cancel, cancel. I can afford that, and someday I will have it, because you are speaking what you want, and you want to have that feeling that it brings when you say those positive words. So some of you live in very negative environments, and I have had that experience of having someone who never said anything nice to me, who didn't compliment or tell me of, how well I did or anything, and for many years would berate me. And one of the things that really helped me was, of course, all of this studying, because what a blessing that was to me, because I became so strong, and I learned ways, because there's sometimes people in your life that you can't just dismiss, right? Some you can, and you should. But someone taught me to just imagine that I put on a raincoat and I pushed up my umbrella, and those negative words would just fall off and they could not penetrate me. So just know that you have the power. You don't have to soak those in. You don't have to believe them. You can say, or think, if it's not a place where you can feel comfortable speaking how you feel, I know who I am, and I am not who you are talking about. I am, and then say something powerful, even if you say that I am powerful and I am loving. Those were words I would say. I am powerful and I am loving. Love is the very highest vibration that you can achieve. So now look for gold. You all know someone that cannot see the gold in their life. They see all of the negative, and they are constantly reflecting it. So you're going to look for the gold. One thing that one of my mentors taught me, Dr. M.T. Morter Jr., he said, nothing happens to you, everything happens for you. And that was a major aha for me, because I had learned that early on, but then I hadn't I wasn't at that fourth level of learning by any means. It wasn't part of me. It wasn't written on my heart. And when he said it, I realized absolutely everything, even the most terrible things, the worst things that you could possibly think of, it happened for you. There's a lesson, there's a gift, and it's up to you to find it. It's up to me to find it in my life experiences. One thing you can do is ask the question, what did I like best? You go to a meeting and you think, you hear people saying, oh, that was a total waste of time. So you're going to say, what did I like best about that? I liked being in the room with all those people. And you're going to look around, you're going to look for things that you like best. And then what did I get out of it? What did I learn today? What did I get out of this? Even if it is that you never want to put on a meeting quite like that one, or that you want to do it in the way that came to your mind. You thought of something, well, if I were doing this meeting, I would do this. So now you have a great idea for when you are in charge of a meeting. So what you are feeling, I told you this before, will attract more circumstances, events, and people that bring more of whatever you are feeling. So what's your job? I wish I could hear you. To feel good now and to be grateful and thankful. And you might say, I am grateful and thankful, or I am so happy and thankful and grateful. And list the things that you want in your life or that you are grateful for. For one thing, you are alive, and you have many things, if you look for them, that you can be grateful for. So the quality of our life is determined by the quality of the questions we ask. So think about the questions you're asking. Not a why me question, but a question that will empower you. A question that is, what can I do to change my thinking? Where can I go to get the help that I need? When can I make myself of more of service in my life? Where can I go to learn more? And then you will empower you. So you are ultimately going to be the best coach you ever had. Get the help you need from those that you admire and who have what you want, who are the kind of person you want to be, and then you can make that difference in your life and other people's lives as well. So celebrate success. One more thing I wanted to share with you. When you genuinely applaud the success of others, you attract success to you. And we all probably have had the experience of having a friend who really is so competitive that they can't celebrate someone else's success. They immediately go into comparing. They immediately, when they see someone else successful, they feel like less. And that is something you want to work on. And one of the ways you work on it is if you're in a situation where someone is being applauded for their efforts, then you genuinely applaud them. You be the loudest clapper. You cheer for them, because when you do that, genuinely celebrate their success, you attract that.